Every time you ask artificial intelligence a question, your words travel to a hidden factory filled with thousands of powerful computers. Inside, electricity becomes computation. Computation becomes an answer. And nearly all of that electricity eventually becomes heat. Keeping that factory running is one of the biggest engineering challenges of the AI era. The most surprising part is not only the chips, it is the enormous electrical system behind them and the carefully engineered plumbing that stops them from overheating.
So, how does an AI data center actually work? How does power reach the processors? How do thousands of GPUs work together? And why is liquid replacing air as the preferred way to keep the newest machines cool? Let's go inside.
From the outside, a data center can look like an ordinary warehouse. Inside, it is an engineered environment built around 4 essential systems: electrical power, computing hardware, high-speed communication, and cooling. If any one of them fails, the useful computation can stop.
A conventional data center may run websites, databases, or cloud storage. An AI data center is optimized for accelerators, especially GPUs. These processors perform huge numbers of mathematical operations in parallel, but dense AI racks can require far more electricity and cooling than traditional servers.
The journey begins outside the building. High-voltage electricity arrives from the regional grid, often through a dedicated substation. High voltage is efficient for moving large amounts of energy, but it is far too high for computer equipment, so it must be reduced in controlled stages. Large transformers step the voltage down. Switchgear then measures, protects, and directs the electrical flow. Circuit breakers can isolate a fault before it spreads. In a major facility, this equipment is arranged in separate paths, so maintenance or a single failure does not shut down everything. Next comes the uninterruptible power supply, or UPS. It conditions the incoming power and uses batteries to bridge the critical seconds between a grid interruption and the arrival of backup generation. To the servers, that transfer must feel almost invisible. If the outage continues, backup generators or other on-site power systems take over. Batteries can support short transitions, while generators can operate much longer. Redundant fuel, controls, cooling, and electrical paths are all designed around one goal: continuous operation. Inside the server hall, power distribution units and overhead busways divide the supply among the racks. Server power supplies convert alternating current into direct current. Voltage regulators then reduce it again to the tiny, precise voltages required by processors and memory. At the center of the system is the AI server. It combines GPUs, CPUs, high-speed memory, storage, and network adapters. The CPU coordinates general tasks, while the GPUs handle the enormous arrays of repeated calculations used to train and run artificial intelligence models. A CPU is excellent at completing varied instructions in sequence. A GPU contains many processing units that can work on similar calculations at the same time. That parallel structure is ideal for the matrix operations at the foundation of modern neural networks. During training, thousands of processors repeatedly adjust a model using enormous datasets. During inference, an already trained model receives a request and calculates a response. Training builds the capability. Inference is what happens when you actually use it.
The largest models cannot fit inside one processor, one server, or even one rack. Their work is divided across many machines. Each processor handles part of the calculation, then exchanges results with the others. This makes the communication network almost as important as the chips.
High-bandwidth switches and fiber optic links form the nervous system of the AI factory. Data must move with extremely low delay because a processor waiting for information is expensive hardware sitting idle. The network keeps the entire cluster working like one enormous computer. When you enter a prompt, it travels through the internet to a suitable facility. Software routes it to available computing resources. The model converts words into numerical tokens, processes their relationships through many layers, and generates the response one sequence at a time. But every switching transistor encounters electrical resistance. Almost all the energy used by the processors ultimately appears as heat. Pack many powerful GPUs close together, and the rack becomes an extremely concentrated heat source, sometimes demanding more than 100 kilowatts in modern rack-scale systems. Traditional data centers remove heat with air. Fans pull cool air through the front of each server. Warmer air exits at the rear, where containment systems separate hot aisles from cold ones. Air handlers then transfer that heat into the facility's cooling system. Air cooling is simple and proven, but air carries relatively little heat. As more processors are packed into each rack, fans must spin faster and move larger volumes of air. That uses more electricity, creates more noise, and eventually becomes impractical for the densest AI hardware. The solution is direct-to-chip liquid cooling. A metal cold plate sits directly on each major heat-producing component. Coolant moves through sealed channels inside the plate, absorbs heat near its source, and carries that heat away far more effectively than a stream of air. Flexible lines connect the cold plates to a manifold. From there, warmed coolant travels to a coolant distribution unit, often called a CDU. Pumps maintain the correct flow, while sensors constantly check temperature, pressure, and possible leaks. Inside the CDU, a heat exchanger transfers energy from the protected technology loop to the facility water loop. The two loops remain separate. The facility loop carries the heat outdoors, where dry coolers, cooling towers, chillers, or other equipment release it into the environment. Another approach is immersion cooling. Specialized computer hardware is placed inside a non-conductive dielectric fluid. The fluid touches the hot components directly and carries heat to a heat exchanger. It can remove large amounts of heat, although installation and maintenance require a different server design. Liquid cooling does not automatically mean that water is constantly consumed. Internal coolant loops can be sealed and recirculated. Actual water use depends mainly on how the facility rejects heat outdoors. A dry cooler uses air, while an evaporative cooling tower may consume water to save energy. Reliable data centers avoid single points of failure. Critical pumps, power feeds, network connections, and control systems may be duplicated. If one path requires service, another can remain active. The visible server racks are only the front end of a much larger reliability machine. Thousands of sensors watch the facility every second. They measure electrical load, battery condition, airflow, coolant flow, humidity, and chip temperature. Automated controls respond before a small change becomes a failure, while operators investigate unusual readings from a central control room. Engineers often track power usage effectiveness, or PUE. It compares all energy entering the facility with the energy used by the computing equipment. A value closer to 1 means less power is being spent on cooling, lighting, and other supporting systems. The International Energy Agency reports that AI-focused data centers surged by about 50% in 2025. It projects total global data center electricity consumption to reach roughly 945 terawatt-hours by 2030, about twice its 2024 level. At that scale, the building cannot be designed separately from the power grid. Developers must secure generation, transmission capacity, transformers, and backup systems years in advance. Some campuses are also exploring on-site generation, batteries, renewables, and nuclear power for dependable long-term supply. This transition is already accelerating. NVIDIA says its Rubin generation AI infrastructure is designed for 100% liquid cooling. By capturing heat directly at the chips and using warmer closed-loop coolant, future facilities may reduce their dependence on fans, chillers, and evaporative cooling. Engineers are also asking whether waste heat can become useful heat. In suitable climates, warm facility water can support nearby buildings, industrial processes, or district heating networks. The challenge is matching temperature, distance, and demand without reducing data center reliability. So, an AI data center is not simply a room full of computers. It is a tightly connected system.
The electrical network feeds the processors. The processors perform the mathematics. The high-speed network combines their work, and the cooling system carries away the heat.
When all four systems operate together, a request can travel into this hidden factory and return as an answer in seconds. What feels like invisible intelligence on a screen depends on very physical engineering: copper, silicon, fiber, transformers, pumps, and carefully controlled liquid.
As AI becomes more powerful, which challenge will matter most? Faster processors, greater electricity supply, or better cooling? Share your answer in the comments. And if you want to see how the machines shaping our world actually work, subscribe to How Engineering Works. No prompt received.